All right, let's dive right in. Today, we're tackling something that I know is a huge headache for small business owners: cybersecurity. It feels so complex, right? But what if I told you there's a clear, straightforward playbook you can follow? Well, that's exactly what we're going to unpack.
So let me ask you something, straight up. Is your office really, truly prepared for a cyber attack? I don't mean just kind of thinking about it. I mean, do you have an actual plan, real protections in place? It's a heavy question, I know, but it's one we absolutely have to answer.
Okay, so here's our game plan. First, we'll look at why small businesses are such a big target. Then we'll dig into the government's own blueprint for staying safe. The real game changer, though, is shifting to a proactive strategy. We'll cover that. And then we'll get practical, building your toolkit and figuring out the right service level for you. Let's do this. So first up, the small business dilemma. You might think hackers are only chasing after the giant corporations, but that's just not true anymore. The reality is small offices, especially ones with super sensitive data like doctors' offices or law firms, they're now a prime target. Attackers see them as having valuable info, but with weaker defenses. So where do you even start? The great thing is, you're not on your own here. You don't have to invent this from scratch. We can actually turn to the official government cyber blueprint. It's basically a guide that spells out what you need to do to protect yourself. To get really specific, we're pulling from a guide created by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services. You'll see it called HHS. Their guide is officially for small healthcare groups, but honestly, the advice in it is gold for any small business that handles important private data. It gives us a really solid, credible place to start.
So what's in this magic guide? Well, the HHS boils it all down to 10, count them, 10 critical cybersecurity practices. You can almost think of them as the 10 commandments for keeping your digital life safe.
Now, I know what you're thinking. 10 practices? That sounds like a lot and a little overwhelming. So here's the plan. We're going to focus on a strategy that knocks out 4 of the most important, most fundamental practices right off the bat. It's all about getting the biggest impact for your effort.
And this brings us to the most important idea in this entire explainer: moving to a proactive protection strategy. This is all about a major mindset shift. We're moving away from that old model of just waiting for something to break and then fixing it, and instead we're getting ahead of the problems to stop them before they even start.
This whole philosophy is captured perfectly by a quote from R&M Diaz Consulting. Their motto is "Ser proactive, be proactive." It's so simple, but so powerful. It's about taking action instead of just reacting to chaos.
Let's put these two approaches side by side because the difference is just night and day. The reactive way, that's where you wait for the emergency call, you wait for the data breach, and then you're just scrambling, dealing with lost files, angry customers, and a business that's ground to a halt. The proactive way, it's about constant, quiet prevention, monitoring, updating, and making sure that crisis call never has to be made.
Okay, so that's the philosophy. But what do you actually do? That brings us to your Digital Guardians Toolkit. These are the concrete, hands-on steps that make up a real proactive defense. Remember those 4 key areas from the HHS guide? This is where they come to life. We're talking about endpoint protection. That means securing every single computer, laptop, even printer on your network. Then there's data protection, which is just a smart way of saying you're backing up your important files so you never lose them. Asset management. That's simply knowing what tech you have so you can protect it. And finally, vulnerability management. Actively looking for digital weak spots and fixing them before a hacker finds them. And what's really great is, this isn't just one agency's opinion. This whole proactive model lines up perfectly with what another major authority says: CISA, the Cybersecurity and Infrastructure Security Agency. Their top tips: keep your software updated, use good antivirus, have a firewall, use strong logins, and back up your data. See? It's all the same playbook. It's about being proactive. So how on earth do you do all this without becoming a full-time IT wizard yourself? Well, the engine that makes this all possible is a service called Remote Monitoring and Management, or RMM. The best way to think about it is like having a silent digital guardian for your office. It works 24/7 in the background, watching over everything, keeping it updated and protected so you don't have to. Okay, we get the what and the why. So now let's talk about the how. How do you actually get this kind of protection? This is where we look at how these proactive services are packaged into plans you can actually choose from. And this table just lays it all out so clearly. Think of it like building your own security package. The foundation for everything is that core R&M service, the 24/7 monitoring and patching. From there, you just add the layers you need. You can add backup or respaldo to make sure your data is safe. You can add professional antivirus, or you can go for the top-tier stuff, anti-ransomware. This is often called EDR or XDR, and it doesn't just block threats, it actively hunts them down. It lets you customize your protection to fit your business perfectly. Now, it's one thing to have a great service, but what's running under the hood? That's super important too. In this case, all these services are built on a platform called NinjaOne, which happens to be an award-winning leader in the industry. So you know the tech itself is top-notch. And look, this isn't just about good software. You've got multiple layers of trust here. The strategy is guided by people who are actually certified in HIPAA and cybersecurity. The platform, NinjaOne, gets top marks from big-name analysts like Gartner. But for me, the most telling thing, the actual customers, the people using it every day, rate it number one. That speaks volumes. So we'll leave you with this one last thought to chew on. Your business, your client data, your reputation, it's all online and operating 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The only question left to ask yourself is your protection